My dear friends, lean in close, because I have something to tell you that may very well change the course of your life. There are moments in life when we wake up with the weight of the world on our shoulders. The alarm sounds, but your heart is heavy. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's regret. Maybe it's the quiet whisper that says, you're not enough. And if you're honest, you've heard that voice more than once. But I want to speak directly into that pain today. Your mind is a battlefield. Each morning, before the sun stretches its arms across the horizon, before the birds sing their first melody of the day, there is a battle already underway, and it begins the moment you open your eyes. It's not a battle fought with weapons or enemies you can see. It's quieter, more personal, and far more dangerous. It's the battle of the mind. Every morning, your mind becomes a battleground where thoughts compete for dominance. Thoughts of hope or despair, strength or weakness, victory or defeat. And whether you realize it or not, the outcome of that battle can shape the course of your entire day. The first few moments of your morning are sacred. They are the gateway between the dreams you leave behind and the reality you step into. In those fragile seconds, your mind is vulnerable, open to suggestion, to emotion, to the momentum of whatever voice is loudest. Will it be the voice of doubt or the voice of discipline? Will you let the lingering worries from yesterday dictate the possibilities of today? Or will you rise, take hold of your thoughts, and declare that your mind will serve your purpose, not your fears? This battlefield isn't new. It's been there since the beginning. From the time you first faced disappointment to the moment you first believed a lie about yourself, the mind remembers. It stores pain. It replays failure. It clings to what went wrong. But it also holds the potential for greatness. The same mind that recalls sorrow can envision victory. The same thoughts that once paralyzed you can become the very thoughts that push you forward. If you learn to master them each morning, you don't need to wait for motivation to arrive. Discipline steps in where feelings fall short. Discipline says, even when I don't feel like it, I will rise. Discipline says, even when the world is heavy, I will carry hope. And make no mistake, that's a choice. The first thought you allow to take root in your mind in the morning is a seed. And that seed grows. Whether it grows into weeds or fruit depends entirely on you. If you water it with truth, faith, and focus, it will bear strength. If you water it with fear, comparison, and apathy, it will choke out your potential before you even leave your room. That's why this battlefield must not be ignored. You can't afford to be passive in the first moments of your day. Passivity is permission. If you don't actively guide your thoughts, they will wander. They will drift toward every insecurity. He says every unfinished task, every regret. And soon you'll find yourself overwhelmed before the day even begins. But if you stand guard, if you rise and speak life over your mind, then you become the commander of your inner world. You become the one who sets the tone, who dictates the direction, who leads instead of being led. So how do you fight this battle? You speak truth when lies whisper. You declare strength when weakness trembles. You remind yourself that you are not your feelings, not your circumstances, not your past. You are the sum of what you choose to believe and act on. You reach for gratitude before you reach for your phone. You take a breath and offer up your thoughts to something greater than yourself. You pray. You meditate. You declare that this mind, your mind, is a vessel for clarity, for boldness, for peace. Each morning is a fresh battlefield, but it is also a new beginning, a chance to reclaim what fear has stolen, a chance to rise stronger, wiser, more determined than the day before. You don't have to win it all in one day, but you do have to show up. You do have to choose. Because if you win this battle in your mind, when the world is still quiet, you'll walk into your day with power, not panic, with purpose, not pressure. And that, more than anything, changes everything. Discipline is a daily decision, not a feeling. There will be days, many days, when you don't feel strong. You won't feel inspired. You won't feel ready. You'll look in the mirror and wonder if you have what it takes. And that is precisely the moment when discipline must rise. Because discipline has never been about feeling. It's about choosing. Choosing to move forward when everything inside you wants to stay still. Choosing to act when fear tells you to wait. Choosing to believe in the process when you don't yet see the result. Discipline is not born in moments of comfort, but in the fire of resistance. When your emotions beg for ease and your soul reaches for something more. Feelings are fleeting. They shift with the weather, with the news, with a single word from someone else. But decisions, true, soul-anchored decisions, are rooted in something deeper. They are grounded in vision, in values, in a purpose that is not dictated by mood. And every single morning, when the world is just beginning to stir, you are faced with a decision that only you can make. Will you live by how you feel or by what you've chosen? Discipline whispers when motivation is silent. It stands tall when enthusiasm runs dry. It tells you that even if the fire inside you seems dim today, you still have the match in your hand. You can strike again. You can choose again. You can build something out of consistency that feelings could never build. Anyone can work hard when they feel like it. But it's what you do when you don't feel like it that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. That's the truth nobody wants to hear, because it's hard. It means showing up when your bed feels warm and your spirit feels cold. It means honoring your commitment even when convenience offers you 1,000 excuses to quit. Discipline is quiet. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't beg for applause. It does the work in the shadows so that one day the light can reveal what persistence has built. And that work, that grit, that resilience, that choosing again and again, it doesn't come from feelings. It comes from resolve, from knowing deep down that your life is not meant to be ruled by passing emotions. Emotions can inform you, but they cannot lead you, because they were never meant to drive the wheel. You were. When you begin to understand this, something powerful happens. You stop waiting. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, the perfect clarity. You stop giving power to procrastination disguised as self-care. You rise. Not because it's easy, not because it's convenient, but because you've decided. And that decision becomes a habit. That habit becomes a character. That character becomes a life. A life built not on temporary feelings, but on unshakable purpose. Every day, you're given another chance, another sunrise, another breath, another decision. You don't have to feel ready. You just have to show up with tired eyes and a willing heart, with trembling hands and unwavering resolve. Because discipline doesn't require you to be perfect. It just asks that you don't quit. It asks that you stay loyal to the goal long after the emotion that started it has faded. It asks that you remember why you began, even when the road gets long. This is the kind of discipline that changes lives. The kind that builds legacies, the kind that breaks generational cycles and replaces them with purpose and power. It's not flashy. It's not always exciting, but it's steady. And what's steady endures. You may not feel like you're making progress some days, but every decision to stay the course, to keep going, to keep choosing, that's a victory. And that is where transformation truly begins. Speak life before the world speaks lies. Before you step into the world, each day, the world is already speaking. It's already whispering into your soul, into the corners of your heart where doubt hides and fear lingers. The voices are subtle, but persistent. They come from the headlines, the noise, the hurried scroll through a screen that tells you who you should be, what you should fear, and why you're not enough. The world doesn't wait for you to wake up before it starts lying to you. That's why you can't afford to wake up in silence. He says you can't afford to let the first voice you hear be one that questions your worth. You must speak life before the world speaks lies. You have a voice, not just the sound that comes from your mouth, but the truth that comes from your spirit. And every morning, before anyone else speaks over you, before doubt even has a chance to knock, you must open your mouth and speak. Speak light into the darkness. Speak strength into your weakness. Speak purpose into the chaos. Because if you don't, the world will be more than happy to fill that silence with fear, with comparison, with distraction. It will tell you that you're behind, that you're lacking, that you're ordinary. But those are not the words you were born to live by. You were created to declare truth, to speak vision over your day, to remind your soul that you are chosen, equipped, and called. That you don't walk into the world hoping for acceptance. You carry identity. You don't wait for validation. You walk in truth. And that truth must be spoken out loud, not just thought. Because the tongue has power. Power to direct the course of your day, the state of your mind, and the posture of your heart. When you speak life, you give your mind a map to follow. You give your emotions a compass. You give your spirit fuel for the fight ahead. This is not about ignoring reality. It's about redefining it. The world will give you facts, but your voice can declare faith. The world will point out obstacles, but your voice can proclaim opportunity. And every time you choose to speak life, even through trembling lips and tired eyes, you are taking back authority over your atmosphere. You are refusing to be a passive participant in your own story. You are refusing to let the lies get the first word or the last. And yes, there will be days when speaking life feels unnatural, when everything in you wants to remain silent, when disappointment has dried up your hope and weariness has silenced your fire. But those are the days it matters most. That is when you dig deep. That is when you remember that your voice was never meant to echo the world. It was meant to change it. It was meant to call things that are not as though they were. It was meant to create, to bring to life dreams buried under doubt, to resurrect confidence buried beneath years of silence. What you speak shapes what you believe, and what you believe shapes how you live. So when your feet hit the ground in the morning, don't wait for the right mood or the perfect moment. Begin speaking. Speak peace over your mind. Speak purpose over your steps. Speak grace over your past and courage over your future. Because every word is a seed, and what you plant in the morning, you will harvest in the evening. Let the first voice you hear be your own, declaring the truth that the world will try to make you forget. Don't let your silence be filled by noise. Fill it first with power, with truth, with life. Because the world will lie, but your voice can still lead. Your voice can still break through. Your voice can still speak a better word. And that better word starts the moment you choose to open your mouth and declare it. Winning the morning means winning the day. There is a sacredness to the morning that cannot be replicated. It is the one moment in the day when the world is quiet, when time slows down just enough to let you decide who you will be before the noise begins. And in that window, in those precious, quiet moments after you wake, you are given something rare and powerful, a chance to set the tone, to take the lead, to claim victory before the day even begins. Because how you begin your morning will almost always determine how you walk through your day. If you win the morning, you win the day. But winning doesn't mean perfection. It doesn't mean waking up to a flawless routine or feeling strong every time. It means showing up. It means being intentional. It means refusing to let chaos dictate your pace or emotion dictate your direction. It means that before the texts come in, before the deadlines press down, before the expectations of others begin to pull at you, you ground yourself in what matters most. You feed your spirit. You prepare your mind. You align your heart. Because if you don't own those first few moments, something else will. The morning is where battles are either won or lost in silence. It's where discipline defeats procrastination, where clarity pushes out confusion, where prayer silences panic. It's where purpose is remembered and where peace is reclaimed. And it doesn't take hours. It doesn't take elaborate rituals. It takes intention. It takes you choosing to pause instead of rush, to reflect instead of react, to lead yourself instead of being led by everything else. It takes you declaring that your morning is not just something to get through. It is the foundation you will build your day upon. Too many people wake up and immediately hand over their power. They reach for their phones, for opinions, for distractions. They scroll through the lives of others before they've even checked in with their own soul. They absorb the anxiety of the world before they've spoken peace into their own thoughts. And then they wonder why they feel lost, overwhelmed, behind. It's not because the day is too much. It's because the morning was never claimed. They didn't start with vision, they started with noise. And noise will never lead you to purpose. But it doesn't have to be that way. Every morning is a reset. Every sunrise is a fresh beginning. No matter what happened yesterday, no matter how messy or painful it was, today begins anew. You get another chance to rise with power, to choose gratitude over grumbling, to speak life instead of complaint, to breathe, to pray, to prepare your spirit for the journey ahead. Because the one who wins the morning walks into the day with armor. Not the kind you see, but the kind you feel. Confidence, clarity, calm. That kind of inner strength doesn't come from reacting. It comes from readiness. It comes from winning the first hour of the day with intention and grace. Winning the morning doesn't mean you won't face battles. It means you'll be ready for them. It means you've already centered yourself before the storm. You've already decided who you are before the pressure tries to define you. You've already fueled your faith before fear even knocks. That is the power of the morning. It sets a rhythm that carries you forward. It reminds you that you're not a victim of the day. You're the one who gets to shape it. So don't waste the morning. Don't rush past it. Don't give it away to lesser things. Own it. Protect it. Make it yours. Because when you win the morning, you don't just have a better day, you become a stronger, more focused, more powerful version of yourself. And day by day, morning by morning, that version of you becomes unstoppable. So I leave you with this, not as a suggestion, but as a calling. Discipline your mind every morning. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the world to affirm you. Don't wait for the storm to pass. You were not made to drift through life reacting. You were made to rise each day with intention, with clarity, and with fire in your soul. Before your feet hit the ground tomorrow, decide who you are. Speak truth over your thoughts. Command your focus. Guard your peace. And walk out your door like someone who knows that their day, their life, is far too valuable to leave to chance. Because the morning is yours. And if you can win the morning, you can win anything. Now go. Rise with discipline, speak with purpose, and live like it matters. Because it does. And so do you.